Hi everyone, welcome back to another video of Dashboard Trade Manager. So today we're going to be having a look at some of the features with Dashboard Trade Manager. As you can see here, it's a partial close button, a stop distance button, limit distance button. There's a couple options here and some buttons over here. So I'm not going to be demonstrating all of these buttons, okay? What I will do, however, is I'll showcase how to place a trade using dashboard. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this off. We won't need that. I'll be demonstrating using Ethereum, so you can probably look at our past videos. We cover the same things. So in this demonstration, I'm simply going to explain to you how some of these functions work. So you are already familiar with these buttons over here. Up, down, left, right. And the keyboard, if you press it on the keyboard, you'll be able to navigate. And right and left allows you to cycle your time frames. Up and down allows you to cycle your symbols. Okay, so dashboard makes everything convenient and brings everything to your fingertips. Alright, so that's the first, I would say, set of buttons that you're probably going to be using most of the time. Then having a look at these buttons over here, we can see we've got buy, we've got buy stop, buy limit, sell, sell stop, sell limit. Okay, so we've also got close all, close profit, close loss, cancel TP, cancel stop loss. And then over here we've got the type, whether it's a buy or a sell, or buy stop or sell stop, or buy limit or sell limit. And that'll be over here. We've got the symbol, which obviously in this case would be Ethereum USD. So you can actually have a look there. And we've got lots, which will tell you how many lots you've entered on. This USD, this will tell you exactly how many, to tell you exactly how much you've entered with, like how much you're in profit or in a loss with, right? And then you can also set your TP. It will tell you TP level, and your SL to tell you SL level. Um, this one over here, which is current all charts. This simply means that if you only want these buttons to affect what's currently on your chart, then you're going to be leaving it on current, right? If you want these buttons to affect all of your positions, then you would be having it on all charts. Okay, so if you want to adjust, for example, the levels, let's say for partial close, maybe you want to close 50% of your position, you're going to bring this all the way to 50%. So to close 50% of your trades, if you're in by $100 and you close it, that will mean that it will close $50 and you'll have $50 remaining still active on the market, obviously depending on your lot size and so on. Then if you look at stop distance, right, this refers to your buy stop and your sell stop, so you can actually adjust your stop levels like that, and it will show you for both buy and sell where your that stop distance would be, right? And quite similarly, if you click on limit distance, it will actually show you where is the limit order. Now if you don't know what the difference is between a buy stop and a sell stop, I'll explain it briefly using the example of a buy, right? So let's just say, for example, I wanted to buy on this position, right? This line over here, this green line, that would be my buy position where my buy would trigger. So the market is literally, what it's doing is this, right? I'll show with an example of a horizontal line. So let's say that is where my stop distance is set to, right? So roughly over there. So let's say this is where my stop distance was set to, and let's just say this was a obviously green for buy, right? So if I have it set at stop distance and I press buy stop, right, what it will do is the minute the market moves here, it will trigger a buy trade and get me the entry there. Now stop distance, I mean limit distance, sorry, works a bit different, right? So as you can see, look where's the green line there, right? It's right over there. So if I was to anticipate that the market might move lower down to this level, and that's where I want to buy in, that is where limit distance comes in. So buy stop, remember that it's you expect the market's going to move up in that direction and it will trigger buy. Sell stop, I mean buy limit, you expect the market will drop first and then go up. So they serve two different purposes, but they essentially do a very similar thing, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that, and then there we go. So we're back on Ethereum. And now that we've explained that, I'm going to demonstrate. As you can see here, this is a very old account. Uh, Not much in this account, so it's $1. The reason the equity is 2.07 is because of this over here, the credit. Now, some brokers they will actually offer you credit on your accounts, right? And then you'll see that the margin over here is 0. So this margin is not the same as. So this margin actually tells you how much you've entered on the market. So it's the same as the normal margin, right? And this is free margin, it says how much funds is available. And then over here we have risk. Now the interesting thing about the risk is you're gonna click it, it's gonna do nothing. Right? The interesting thing about the risk is if you press this button over here, this is the keyboard button, and you can use these ones to adjust, right? On your keyboard, obviously, right? You can use these buttons to adjust, and you can increase or decrease your risk. And we'll keep it at 1% for now. And if I press this button once again, the slash, once again, it will actually hide that. Okay. And then we've got lots over here. Now, what the lots refers to is how much 1%, how much lots is that? So to tell me it's 0.01. The same with the risk margin. If I'm risking 1% of my funds, that means that my risk margin would be 0.2. So I know exactly how many lots it's going to cost me, or I know exactly how much margin it's going to cost me should I enter the position. This clock that you see over here, okay, that refers to how much time is remaining before the next candle opens. So if I know that, for example, I'm on a 1 hour chart, that means 30 minutes from now, then the next candle will open. So if I go, for example, to a 5 minute chart, I can see that the next 5 minute candle is going to open in 40 seconds, right? So that's an easy way of determining your and timing your entry, right? And as you can see, it counts by the second. Now over here, we can see we've got Q. Now what Q is, it's target percentage total. So this you have to essentially use while you don't have any open trades. That is when you set this. Do not set this while you have open positions. So you can press Q and you will see it circulates, right? If you keep pressing Q, it circulates. So how this works is you've got what's known as a target percentage total, and that can be controlled. This value can be controlled with S and W, right? So um you can actually control it, the increments, right? And then you can actually set your TP with E and R. So I can set my TP to, let's say I wanted, for example, I'll use the example of 50. It's easy to understand with 50%, right? So let's just say, for example, I'm entering for 100. Let's say I'm expecting to make a profit of um $100, right? If I have this thing set at 50%, that means, actually no, it's not the easy way of explaining it. Let me try this again. So let's just say my margin was, uh $100, right? And I have my TP set at 50%. What this will do is it will essentially close out my trade when my margin, which is $100, is equal to $50. That makes sense, right? So if it was set to, I'm not sure if I'm explaining this right. So let's say if it was set to 55, right, and I had $100 risk, $100 margin on the market, it's gonna close me at $55. It will close the trade immediately once $55 is reached, right? Because obviously $55 is 55% of 100. So quite similarly to that, you do have a stop loss, and obviously if it's not applicable, nothing will happen. It won't set a stop loss or take profit at that level. If I want to be more specific and I press Q once again, you can see it says target percent trade. Hold on. So target percent total. So this is gonna be take into account all of my trades. It will close all of my trades once. Um, Let me just do this. Let me explain this part properly. Sorry, guys. I apologize for this. Okay, I didn't have time to practice how I'm going to demonstrate this video, so I do apologize. Okay, let me start this over. So let's say you have a target percent total, and I can have 5 positions open on the market, 5 trades open on the market, and if all of those equal $100, and I will, and let's just say my total profit, right, re- reaches $50, it will automatically close the trades at $50 and close all of my positions. Similarly, if I was in a loss of, let's say, $50, okay, then it would automatically close all of my trades. So I can press D and F just to demonstrate this, right? So let's just say I wanted to didn't want to risk more than $20, and I've got $100 um invested on the market, and the market moves against me by $20. It will automatically close that trade at $20 because $20 would be 20% of $100. Makes sense. So that's taken into account the margin. It's based around the margin, but as a total percentage of all open positions. And if I press Q once again, I can do it per trade as well. Same principle, but per trade. The next one is target amount total. Now this one is a bit different because here I'm being specific and I'm saying $50. Right? So if the market moves in my favor in total by $50, I'm going to be able to close, it will automatically close all my trades, right? Because it's taking into account the total. The same with stop loss over here. If the market moves against me by $20 in total, right? I can have 5 positions total, then to close my trades by $20. And quite similarly, I can do it per trade instead as well. So for each trade, I maybe want to get $50 out of the trade. It will close the position for me automatically if that trade reaches $50. So that's how that works, right? Very easy to understand. Um, the next I want to focus on is actually explaining these 2 buttons over here. These are probably, if you're going to be manually trading, the most important buttons that you'll be using. So because obviously they have to do with buying and selling, right? You're going to be opening positions with this. So this is a very small amount, right? Obviously you're going to be analyzing the market properly. I'm not doing it in this demonstration. I'm not analyzing the market in this demonstration. This video is not about that. This video is just about demonstrating the functions of these buttons. So if I were to buy, let's say, you can see 0.1 loss, and that's exactly the same as what we saw earlier on, right? And as you can see, the margin's never going to be perfect, but um you can see a 0.3, so it's quite similar, right? It gives you a justifiable idea of what it's going to cost, because the reason why this spot is so difficult, right, to actually get properly 100% is because it's going to depend on the broker. It's going to differ, right? And if you look over here, you've got New Balance. Now, what New Balance refers to, it's not the shoe, okay? Um, New Balance refers to if you were to close all the trades, how much are you going to be having in terms of your balance over here? So you can see it's 1.7. So if I were to close this trade, so 0.3 minus 1.07, it's going to give me 1.04. So this is how much I will have if I were to close my trades automatically. So if the trade was in profit, you would notice that it would be um this amount would change. It would be green, right? And this is TP is 1.07. The reason it's showing this is because I haven't set anything as yet, so it's going to give me the break even balance for same for top for TP and for stop loss. Now if I were to drag this over here, okay, you'll notice that, so this can be disabled, by the way, this green feature, but you'll see there's a similar result if I press for the stop loss, right? That can be I can remove it as well. I want to just demonstrate it one more time. So I have a TP set, I have SL set, right? And it's easy because I can just drag it and it will set a TP. I can drag it to set a SL. It will even tell me what is my percentage that will move out. It will tell me what is the amount that I'm targeting, the dollar amount that I'm targeting, right? So that's the TP and the SL, all right? And obviously I can move these around as well, okay? Now yeah, you can see 16, 0.16. So even if I were to go to, let's say, a different chart, let's say I'm viewing silver, I'll still be able to keep track of what's happening with those trades, right? So very nice to have them always display over there, right? Let me just make this a bit squashed. It's maybe easier to view that way. So yeah, you can see this amount has changed to 1.23 and this amount has changed to 0.94 because I've obviously moved the SL and the TP. Now, if I were to drag this, let's say there, it's going to also there we go. What the hell? Sorry guys. Sorry. Am I? Here. Sorry, it's gonna change that amount. Oh, there. Oh, I see. I see. I'm getting confused here. Let me just minimize this. Okay, I'm getting confused here. So it's gonna be 0.8. So I'm focusing here. It's actually here. So this is how much my loss would be, right? If I were to close my positions, this is how much my balance would be. Sorry, if I were to close my positions and take that loss, right? Because this is the new balance. This is the total. Um, if I were to close all my trades, right? Now, another thing I want to focus on is this over here. This is break even, right? Now what break even does is, let's say I'm in a loss and I press this button over here. Okay, I won't be able to demonstrate it. There we go. That's going to exit the minute that trade goes into profit. It's going to exit that trade. So I don't have to be watching the markets or anything like that. It'll automatically change to the break even. Okay, there you go. And then this one is, I think I'm clicking too much. Sorry guys, my internet is never the greatest. I think I'm clicking way too much there. My internet is never the greatest, right? Um, so let's say I wanted to add a position, right? And if I press add position over here, watch what happens. You see I've got one trade open, which is the buy, right? If I were to press add position, you'll notice that it opens another trade. You see that? Now, this means that this allows me to then demonstrate another feature, which is this button over here. Now, if I wanted to cancel TP or SL, I simply need to click on it. It will automatically cancel it. Automatically. Right? Now, I've got no TP set, I've got no SL set. So if I want to cancel a specific TP, a specific SL, I just need to click here, it will automatically cancel it. So it's very easy, makes it very convenient, to manage things. I hope I'm choosing the same one. I hope I'm choosing the same trade, yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Okay, it doesn't matter. Let's say I wanted all the TPs. Unless I'm entering your Ethereum USD, right? Now I can have different trades. This all depends on whether you're actually viewing the chart. So let's say I'm on Ethereum USD and I want to move all my TP to be grouped in the same manner, the same level. Right? I can click X on my keyboard, which if I demonstrate it with the keyboard, they all share the same TP now, the same level as you can see. Now I'm gonna cancel this one, right? And I'm gonna demonstrate that I do it as well with this button over here. So let me just cancel both actually. Alright. So now if I set it, let's say set it at different levels, alright? But I want them to be grouped all the same. I simply click here and boom. They will always go on the last level that I set. So if I was to move this here, alright, and I press group, watch, it's gonna jump up. You see, it always works on the last level that I set. Right, so if I group again, it's gonna jump down. Watch. You see that? So that's how that works, right? And it's a very it's the same feature for SL. Now we've discussed this one, which is break even, and we've discussed this one, which is add position, which obviously just adds another trade on the same symbol. Then we've got this one over here, right, which is trailing stop. So trailing stop, the way I've coded this is it will place a trailing stop, which will be that over there. But you, as you can see, it moved there. I can actually I have to manually move this one. But once I manually move it, if this trade was to go up, right? Let me just cancel my TPs. So if this was to go up, right? This is actually gonna trail behind and actually follow it as it moves up. If this was gonna go up. So otherwise, if this was gonna go down, it's gonna trigger the let me just cancel my SLs as well, so you guys can see clearly. It's gonna trigger the the trailing stop, and it's automatically gonna close my position. So that is how that works over there when it comes to, and you can see it's active, the trailing stop. Right now, I can remove it as well if I wanted to, simply by clicking there. This over here, it's the take profit levels. So what this does is if I press that over there, you can see it automatically opens different positions. Now, what's interesting is you can look over here. Now, this wouldn't necessarily apply in this instance, right? Because it's only 0.01 lots, right? But let's just say I was entering 0.5 lots, right? So in this instance, because it's only 0.01, it's automatically going to close 100% of the trade there, alright? Because this wouldn't count as 11%, right? It would not, because it's only 0.01 lots. But let's just say, for example, I had opened the trade and it was, let's say, one lot. Okay, I'll use the example of one lot, right? Or let me rather explain it in this way. We'll use the example of $100 since it's really easy to understand, right? So if I were to take out my calculator over here, um let me actually want to get this out of the way. So let me just press 1 on my keyboard. As you can see, I'm pressing 1, pressing that, it's gone, right? Economic calendar gone. So let's just say I have this set up on this trade, right? And it was $100, right? And if I were to pull up a calculator, which is this button over here, I demonstrated this in previous videos, right? Now I've got $100, right? $100. So assuming, pretend I've got $100, and let's just say the market were to move up and hit this level over here. I would say that would be minus, obviously it's 11%, so minus 11, that's going to be equal to, I'll be obviously left with 89. So that means I'm going to be cashing in $11 over here, right? Which will be added to my balance, right? And let's just say I continue to hold trades, right? Um, actually, I'm not explaining this properly. I'm not explaining this properly. So, no, I am. So it will close part of my position, right? It will take 11. Let's just say that the target was $100, right? It will close part of my position at over here, so it will close exactly 11%. And if it were the market was to move further up, right, what's the remaining of my position would close at 22%, about 22.01%. And whatever is remaining of that, okay, it would close over here at 100% of my position, of the remainder of my position. So that's how this works, right? Sorry guys. I never quite know how to explain this section, but I hope that clarifies things, right? So to close 11% of my position at this level, whatever remains, if the market were to move up further, it will close 22% of that, of what's remaining, and if the market were to move further up, it will close 33% of what's remaining. And this over here, I can actually move it around. So I double click and I can move it around, and I can set where that TP levels will be, right? So that is that button over there. Sorry for the confusion. Okay, and this is partial close. Now remember this button earlier on, we had partial close. So if I set this at 50% and I activate that, right, it's gonna close 50% of my position once this is reached, right? I'm not gonna demonstrate it now because it might actually uh well, it might actually close my trade because it's only 0.01. And then if I wanted to close the trade, I click this over here and it will close the trade. You can do the same here, it will close the trade, right? So I'm gonna open some trades once again because I want to demonstrate something else as well. So I've got 3 trades open now. So let's just say I'm trading the economic calendar, okay? And let's just say I may be watching the news, so, and let's just say I'm reading an article, right? I'm reading an article. Let me just see if I can maybe fill the space. So maybe 2, yeah, maybe that's enough. Don't want to overdo it, right? So now this is covering over here, but this is I want to view my trades. I'm simply going to click on here, right? And we'll actually hide that behind. So now I can see these trades. So it pushes this behind, right? I can actually view my trades. So I'll still be able to actually manage these positions as well. So let's just say I had let me press X, I can group the TPs to be exactly the same, right? So now they're all the same, right? Now let's just say I want to I wanted to cancel this TP over here, but obviously I have this section, this panels overlaid, right? Obviously, by me pushing it behind, um, there might be some disruption, but because this is behind, right? If I click here, I'm still going to be able to interact with it. Okay, you see that I'm still able to close that position over there, right? I'm still able to um click on the and actually affect that trade over there that is behind. But obviously I can also do it this way, which is simply doing that. Okay, simply thinking. Okay, so this just says overlaid like that, right? And now it does mean it's obviously behind. Does mean it's behind. So let's just say I wanted to close this over here. Now obviously this is pushed behind. So what I do is I do that, okay, and it pushes it in front, which means now I can close this. You've got that. So that is just because I wanted to make it easy, because I know some people are going to be trading the economic calendar and that might get in the way. So that's an easy way of simply managing that over there. You can press this as well to control what shows in front and what shows behind. So if I click here, and let's just say I wanted to bring this up again, I click there and it actually brings it to the front. Okay, so that is that demonstration over there. So let me just press 1 once again. So guys, as you can see, I'm gonna close these trades. Dashboard. Oh, I wanted to demonstrate these as well. Now I don't have all the trades in profit. As you can see, this was just a demonstration. I wasn't sure if this trade was gonna go in, push into profit in time for this video, right? Um, but let's just say, for example, I wanted to close all of these trades, right? I can click, if I click close loss. Oh, I can also cancel the TP and the SL from here. I forgot to mention that. As you can see, I click cancel TP, it cancelled all my TPs, as you saw there. If I wanted to close all of these trades at once, right? Um, as you saw, I had cancelled TP. Actually, I want to show you guys this, right? So, watch what happens. If I press cancel TP, it's not going to cancel. But the minute I have to set to all charts and I press cancel TP, it's going to cancel the TP. So that's how that works. This affects only the current chart, this affects all of the charts, right? As I explained earlier. So now, if I wanted to close all of these positions, it would work the same for close all. It will close literally all of my trades. That's current on the chart. And if I want to close all of them in overall, I would have to have it selected as all charts. Then I press close all to close all my trades, right? So be very careful with what you have selected here. If this was in close profit, I'm gonna click this. It's not gonna do anything. You see that it's not doing anything because I don't have any trades in profits. But now this is obviously the current chart. So watch what happens when I press close loss, right? I click it once, and this is what makes dashboard so powerful. You see that I clicked this once, it closed all my trades. So if you have multiple trades running that are going in profit and you want to close them all at the exact same time, you can make use of these close all, close profit, close loss buttons to um to manage all of your trades at once. So that's the beautiful part of having these over here. You don't have to always use them, but if you have multiple trades open, it just makes sense and makes it much easier to manage those trades. So as you can see, dashboard is very intuitive, very easy to understand, And I demonstrated this earlier on how we can navigate here, how we can use this to navigate, but we can also make use of our keyboard buttons. If you have objects in previous videos, I explained that we can clear it here. So dashboard is really meant to make it so much easier to place trades, to manage trades, to watch your trades, to be able to view the markets as far as the news is concerned. Even in terms of applying indicators, right? I demonstrated this in previous videos, the multitude of indicators that is present with Dashboard Trade Manager, and even for objects like this, I press clear and it just clears everything up. I can move this around, so it's seamless, right? If I'm um oh, there's one thing I never mentioned, which is this buttons over here, the risk reward. So if I press this as 20, right? Let me just set this up properly. Okay, oh, it's not showing because I don't have any open positions. So let's just say I bought here, right? Obviously I'm eating into this, but this is a small account, so I don't really care. Um, let's just say I had this set at, I don't know what is going to make sense for it to show on chart, on this chart. Um, 10, no, there we go. As you can see there, it's setting the reward level. So I can preset this. I can have this set at this interval. So what this means is that if the market moves here, it's going to automatically close the trade. So similar to this, but kind of serves a different purpose, if that makes sense. Um, so you can actually set this, and it will actually allow you to set your risk, set your reward. So let's just say I want to risk 4, it will set the risk over there. So that's what that is for. This has nothing to do with these buttons over here. These two buttons is specifically to manual trading. So I just wanted to demonstrate that as well. That you can even set your TP and your SL automatically with these two buttons over here, and it automatically set things according to your desired risk or your desired reward as well. So I know this video was a bit lengthy, um, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it and it gave you a little bit more insight into the capabilities of Dashboard Trade Manager and how you can actually incorporate this into your trading and how it actually enhances your trading capabilities, right? There's also one more thing I want to mention, which is this buttons over here. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate this, right? I'm not going to demonstrate this. Um, these buttons over here. Okay. I'll maybe discuss this in the next video, but I'm not going to demonstrate this. Well, I'm thinking of not demonstrating it. Okay, the reason being is because this is probably the most powerful feature the dashboard trade manager has to offer. Because I'm very skeptical when it comes to trading bots. I don't like them, I don't like using them. Which is why I decided to make my own and incorporate it into Dashboard Trade Manager. Okay, I tested this on with real money, on my own money, on the live charts, numerous times, not just tested for 1 week or anything funny like that, right? You need to understand dashboard is years in the making, so I've tested it quite a bit. And what it allows is these are strategies that I've tested personally that have worked right in the past, and it's just to make it easier, especially for you guys that don't perhaps know how to trade. You now have the ability to actually automate your trading using dashboards. So it will execute trades for you. Um, I might rename the things in there just so you guys can demonstrate. Like I don't want to give the strategy away. That's my thing. But it will allow you to actually um, auto trade the markets, and yeah, essentially it will place the trades for you, without you needing to have a hand in having to watch the charts all the time. So that's a really really good feature. So that's the reason why dashboard is priced the way that it's priced at, because it's quite packed, right? It gives you access to so many tools that you will be have a very very hard time finding anything that matches it, right? um this was a passion project, which I hope you guys can see the passion behind it, to really deliver something that would compete with the institutional trading software out there, but more aimed at retail traders like yourself, like us, that tends to, we don't trade billions of dollars, but we do tend to trade quite a lot of money on the market. So we don't impact the markets, we don't move the markets, but we just want some tools that's going to be easier for us to actually navigate with, and give us a bit of an edge when it comes to the market. So that's what dashboard is designed to do, right? That is why it's packed with so much features, um like the mini charts, like the way it navigates, um all these features, the indicators, all these features. So I hope you guys really enjoy making use of dashboard. And what I'm gonna do is, as it pertains to this, right, I might, in my next video I might touch on these things, but what I'm going to do is I actually want to demonstrate to you guys how this performs. I think it might be better if you see in real time um how this performs on the market. So what I would like to do is, um depending if I have the time, I might do this next week, because I might have time available next week. Usually I don't have time available, but to demonstrate and make these kinds of videos. But I will fund an account with $20, and let's say I think I'll try to commit 2 weeks to demonstrating this, right? So I'll record a video. You won't see the video now, but hopefully by the end of August, the video will be up, God willing, and inshallah, right? And you'll actually be able to see the account go from $20 to whatever amount that it grows to. Just not based on me manual placing trades, but purely based on the auto trade feature, the EA feature, the bot feature, if you want to call it that, right? So I'm completely against trading bots, but um, it's a tool that will aid you and help you get to where you want to be with your account. So I hope that helps, especially for beginner traders that are still discovering themselves on the markets, or those that don't have the time to trade. This feature is definitely there to aid you and get you to where you need to be. Alright, that's the intention behind it. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys appreciated the video. I hope you guys have liked, followed, shared, spoken to family and friends about Dashboard Trade Manager, because it's a really powerful tool that's really really hard to come by, right? Anyways, take care. Hope you guys have a blessed day further.